city lights to the country blue, Woody and Lew got the sports for you. From Boston streets to Kentucky's fields, get ready, folks, for the thrill it yields. Woody and Lew, sports and you, talking games, we love it's true. Every play, every score, let's dive in, it's time for more. Lacing up the boots and calling plays, debates and laughs for all the days. From Fenway Park to Derby Run, sports talk magic just begun. Woody Lew, sports and you, sideline stories coming through. Every cheer, heartbeat soar, tune in now, we'll give you more. Celtics screams to Wildcats roar, touchdowns, goals, and so much more. Grab a seat, enjoy the ride, Woody Lew right by your side.
The views expressed by the hosts are their own and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of the Department of Defense, the U.S. government, or any of its agencies. The information provided is for general informational purposes only and does not constitute legal advice. No attorney-client relationship is formed by providing this information, and nothing herein should be relied upon as legal counsel. For legal advice specific to your situation, please consult a qualified attorney. Braxton, happy Indigenous Peoples Day, but more importantly, happy 1-year anniversary to Woody Lew Sports and You podcast. Just over a year ago, on 5 October 2024, we went live for the first time from my apartment in Pooler, Georgia. So 1 year later, Braxton, how are you feeling?
1 year and 20 episodes down the road, we have made it. Not quite on glide path.
Every 3 weeks, not too bad.
Yeah, I mean, considering our jobs and family situations, that's decent. I'm fired up to be here. You're drinking Miller High Lifes to celebrate the champagne of beers. I went for a Woodford Double Oaked and some espresso.
Yeah,
so I think we're
champagne of beers.
I think we're doing the right things here.
So let's just take a minute to reminisce on where we started, where we went, where we are, and where we're going. Wildly different from a year ago.
Yeah. I think we talked about it 2 episodes ago. It all spurred from us living together and realizing I had an affinity for Kentucky sports radio. You had one for the New England market. We were sitting on a tarmac. Our flight got delayed several hours, so we took out a notebook and we started writing show ideas. And so that was in May. So fast forward 5 months, we decided I would drive out to your apartment. I would pick up some Smithwick's. You ordered some Domino's. We drank Smithwick's, ate Domino's, and had producer Colin there. More on him later. And I think we all knew from the episode 1 that Colin wouldn't be here for the full journey.
Shots fired at producer Colin.
So we've already had job turnover in Woody Lew Sports and You. I'm happy we did it. I think we still have the same viewers from when we started, which is good because that shows loyalty amongst our brand. And we strive on loyalty because loyalty is what's going to get you to the top. And I enjoy doing it, and it keeps us young and knowledgeable on current events.
Speaking of our loyal award-winning listeners, we're getting some happy anniversary congratulations from the Mad Hatter himself, Mr. Chris Lewis. Thank you, Mad Hatter. We'll talk about our fantasy football matchup later. I know you're hot about that result this week. And then Miss Passy Gudgel, time flies when you're having fun. Happy anniversary. Thank you, Miss Passy.
It's a beautiful thing. This show has spanned, I guess, 3 different mediums. So we did it co-located with you in your apartment. Then we did it with me at my house and you at your apartment. And now we're at my house and you in your new apartment in Nashville. So this has spanned the southeastern United States. I like to think we're starting to get a stranglehold on the market. That's the goal, at least. So
I think there's going to be a vacuum soon.
It's tried and true.
Feinbaum announcing potentially his candidacy. So, the mouth of the South, someone's got to fill it. Right, Braxton?
Someone has to fill that 3 to 6 times or 2 to 6 time slot on SEC Network. And if he keeps running his mouth and getting political, because this, we're not a legal podcast or politics podcast. Someone needs to come and talk sports and not talk about Senate runs. And I have no aspirations to run for Senate. I don't believe you do either. So I think we are exactly what the House of Mouse was looking for.
Yeah.
And trust me, House of Mouse knows how much money I've spent on them, so they know I'm invested in their brand.
That's right. All those princess, what were those called? The Princess Experience?
Bippity Boppity Boutique. They've also updated their prices, Dan. They no longer have the small package. It's either the big package or the bigger package now. So I'm looking forward to Ronnie's 3rd birthday in July. That'll be a fun experience.
Boppity Boutique.
Yeah.
But are we having a lag issue again, Braxton?
Mm-hmm.
What is going on? All right.
No, well, you're not lagged on our studio producer cameras. We're not lagged. The YouTube stream looks lagged to me, but as far as our normal stream between you and I, it looks good. And I can hear you fine.
Yeah, you're coming in good. Speaking of which, I think it's funny. Like, we never had the same setup as far as, like, quote unquote, the studio. We were moving around my apartment every which way, different camera angles. It's very funny going down memory lane and where we started.
I mean, we started. Yeah. It's crazy. It started. If you would have told me we would have been doing this a year from now, albeit 20 episodes, I'd like to think I would have believed it. But how many podcasters start and then actually make it to a 1-year anniversary with somewhat consistency?
I probably not many. In 20 episodes, that's a pretty big number. That's a pretty big milestone for Woody, Lew, Sports, and You. A big 2-0.
Hoping we get 20 viewers or our 20th anniversary or 20th
We're slowly growing from our loyal fan base. So we've talked about where we were. Now, where are we going, Braxton? Woody, Lew, Sports, and You. What do you see for this next year of production and recording?
Next year is going to be great. We're fine right now. I don't know about you, Dan, but I will be in the field pretty much all of January, February, and March. So, or I guess half of January, all of February, and half of March. So we're going to have about a 45-day hiatus, kind of towards those dark times of winter as we carry on to spring. But it'll be an awesome opportunity for us to, close out, take a little hard reset, and then spring forward to another exciting season of our lives. Assuming everything goes right, I'll be moving up to your neck of the woods, be about 2 hours away. So for our 2-year anniversary, there's a possibility we're doing a joint show like at a local Hooters that's sponsoring it. So you never know what's in store.
Yeah, once again, always looking for sponsors. Would love for Hooters Daytona style wings to sponsor Woody, Lew, Sports, and You. That would be made it big time if we get the best wings sponsored.
I'll change the name to. We'll change the name to Woody, Lew, Sports, and Who.
Oh, absolutely. I like that a lot. Woody, Lew, Sports, and Who. So for that 45-day field problem, that what I'm reading from you, Braxton, is we may be auditioning co-hosts. So I know Mad Hatter, as a guest, we'd love to have you back on for a guest spot. If you want to co-host with Woody while Lew is, the nation called and he said, send me.
We had no pre-production meeting, if you're curious. And so this is the first time I'm hearing of this proposal, and I'm fully support it. Dad, if you want to fill in for me and keep the show rolling, you have my nod of approval. Just make sure you have enough hats.
Yeah, we're freewheeling right now, just letting it rip for the 1-year anniversary show. All right, Braxton. Moving on into All In from the Mad Hatter. Okay, my people will be in touch with your people. Do you have an agent, Mad Hatter, that I need to get in contact with for some contracting?
I think her name's Amy. She's also in the comments.
We'll do a deep dive further into Woody and Lew Sports and You human resources policies. So into today's topics practice, and this is a continuation from episode 19 and talking about gut checks. So we need to do a check-in on your gut. What is the progress with your half marathon challenge?
So after having our third beautiful angel, I'd be lying if I said I've been working out consistently, because the only thing consistent about me is that I'm not working out consistently. And it's just a combination of lack of sleep. Really, it's just a lack of sleep. And then that's probably 49%, 51% is a lack of will and a lack of gut. Now, my latest attempt, this was 2 weeks ago. My plan was I needed hydration. So I decided to go to a 1/4-mile track that we have. And I set up a full Nalgene with electrolytes. That's all I had. And I dropped the girls off at school. So I'd had from 9:30 until I had to leave to pick up. I had a 3-hour window. And mind you, everyone in our family had COVID and viruses. And I thought I was on the mend. So I got to this 1/4-mile track, and I ran 10 1/4 miles on this track. My head began to pound. So I go home, I eat some fruit, I go and pick up the girls, and I spent the rest of the evening throwing up profusely and in bed. So
no, do you have a bucket?
Yeah, well, I had a toilet, and so Kaylee had to give me all this medicine, knocked me out, and I was on the IR for the rest of that day. I was not over the sickness, and so that was the last time I've attempted it, and it's not the last time I've ran though. I have a treadmill in the garage, and I have gotten on the treadmill twice, and I'm getting after it. The cool thing is, though, even though I didn't do the half marathon, I did accept the October Garmin challenge of running a 15K. And so I did achieve that. That's 9.3 miles. Awesome. I did that. Okay. But yeah, the gut, I've had this internal dialogue, man, because I told Kaylee, I think I've packed on some pounds. I don't think I'm in the shape I need to be. It really just requires me to wake up at 4:30 in the morning and just do it. But the other side of that coin is I have to wake up at 4:30 and do it. And I have not fully committed to that yet.
To be fair, you are a new father, so the being tired, that's not new father. You have a brand new baby, number 3.
I got some miles, if you will. Yeah. I got some miles on me though when you think about it. I'm sorry, Jaden Daniels. Do we have a fantasy topic on the ticker? I can't see the ticker. Can I just say this real quick so people know?
Yeah, this is almost a free for all. Go for it.
Quick fantasy update. I'm on a 3-game burner, so I'm 3-2 after starting out the season 0-2. I picked up Jackson Dart. I didn't start him. Anyway, the person I'm playing, Margaret Ann, she's beating me by 21 points. The only player left to play for both teams is Jaden Daniels, my quarterback. So he just needs 21 and some change points to win. And he's currently giving me minus 0.96 points, throwing an interception. Now he's just throwing it into the wind. And this is the Bears we're playing. And I'm just watching it behind the monitor here. And I'm just watching us I'm tired of losing because of it's my fault. Start Jackson Dart. He has all the hype. They're on Thursday night. but I don't do it. It's a coaching problem. There's a lot of coaching problems. This might be a good transition, Dan.
Yeah, well, not quite yet, because we did get into fantasy, and I do want to bring a few things up. First, I'm number one right now, undefeated, only undefeated team left in the league. So just need to bring that up, just so the record's clear. Mad Hatter, valiant effort this week. So close, but eked you out by less than 2 points to continue the perfect the streak towards perfection. Me and the 1972 Miami Dolphins. Mercury Morris, I'm coming for you. But another thing, Braxton, and this is, I would say, it goes beyond fantasy etiquette, but we're talking now about producer Colin, not more on producer Colin later, more on producer Colin now. He's worse than Taco from the league. I played him last week, and he had multiple people on his roster that were out or on IR. Again, I'm not complaining, as that was an easy week for yours truly. But as the commissioner, like, what's going to be done about this?
Well, I was on social media before we went live, and Colin spent the whole day at the zoo. And so I find it hard pressed that he can spend the whole day at the zoo, but he can't update his roster. I would argue that updating your fantasy roster takes less time than taking the family to the zoo.
That's a great argument.
So priorities are just crosswired for him right now.
Does he have that 04 brain?
But I would say at a time like this, you need a strong commissioner who's willing to have those hard conversations. And unfortunately, our commissioner, he might find himself in a spot where he needs as many wins as possible, and maybe pushing the issue of involvement might come back to bite him. So he might have to save that, especially if I lose tonight.
So what you're saying
if I win tonight, if Jaden Daniels ends up.
So what you're saying is you haven't played Colin yet. You're not going to address it until after your week against Colin.
I played him 2 weeks ago, and I said I was going to say something after that week, but I knew he was playing you, so I didn't. You're welcome.
This sounds like Braxton. This is collusion. We should probably change topics pretty quickly.
Might become a legal podcast real quick.
Yeah, collusion. So moving on to more football and coaching, as you alluded to, two major firings, terminations in both college and NFL football worlds. Now, Woody Lew Sports and you, we don't like it. When someone loses their livelihood, the way to support and sustain their families. But Braxton, let's hear you on the coach firings that happened today and yesterday.
Do you want me to cover yesterday first or today first?
I want you to cover today first.
It's a beautiful day, Dan. Fall's upon us. The weather's starting to change. There's just a briskness in the air that makes you feel warm inside. And I'll never forget where I was, Daniel. I was in Charleston at my parents' house picking up my girls from their fall break excursion. And I checked Twitter just to make sure that the world was still good, and found out the world was even better than I thought it could be. Because I got the notification that Brian Callahan had been fired by the Tennessee Titans. And a lot to unpack there, Dan. The timing is one. He's 4-19. 4-19 is not great over 2 seasons. He won last week, the week before this previous. So you might think, hey, he just got the number 1 draft pick. Let's give him a year with this quarterback to show some promise. Maybe even, if he's a bottom 5 team in the league, at least give him some more draft capital and give him a 3rd year just to see how it goes. Because at the end of the day, we're the Tennessee Titans, right? But that's not what happened, Dan. So they fired him. The Titans put out a statement essentially saying that this is what hurts the most. In their statement of letting him go, they said that they're committed to a patient and solid foundation rebuild. but his just complete, utter lack of any type of growth or improvement was too much to let go. And so they ultimately had to let him go. And I'll say this, all of my anger with Brian Callahan started with the way he treated Will Levis, and that's kind of come to fruition. And I've talked about it ad nauseum about how, you got the Tennessee Volunteer fans, and there was that relationship between Kentucky and Tennessee, and how none of the Tennessee fans wanted Will Levis to succeed from the get. But what's crazy, and I saw this on Twitter yesterday, like all weekend, not even today, of Titans fans pretty much saying, like, this isn't Cam Ward's fault. Cam Ward, his head coach sucks. His system sucks. He doesn't have protection. And the O-line's worse last year than it was this year. So I'm just curious, why did Will Levis not get the same treatment? It's very clear why, because his head coach was outing him to protect his own hide, and then he got his quarterback that he wanted, and it's still not working out. So I feel bad for Will Levis. I wouldn't be surprised if you saw a Baker Mayfield or Sam Darnold-esque return to the league after this year off with injury for Will Levis, and I hope it does happen. It won't be in Tennessee. But anyway, they let him go. And, it had me thinking, Dan, hypothetically, let's say you're in a relationship with a girl for a very long time.
Sure.
But she finds herself to be an alcoholic. She's an alcoholic. She just can't get off the bottle. And all of the negative interactions you have with this girl is because of this thing that's alcohol. It's a very just like, it's this thing that just turns me off. It's ruining the relationship. And you decide to walk. You finally said, I cannot keep supporting this due to this one specific issue. So you leave, and then after you leave, you find just this hot, exciting, exuberant, just energetic,
Oh my God,
fresh and new girl that things are just going great. I mean, you're having great dates. Every time you go out, it's awesome. You look forward to seeing them on the weekends because you know it's going to be happy, or at least you're going to really try hard at being happy, and it's going to be a good time.
It's definitely going to be
But
thrilling.
then,
Definitely
all of a
thrilling
sudden-
dates.
But then all of a sudden, very thrilling dates. Like, you're always on the edge of your seat when you're with this girl. But then, you get on Instagram and you see your ex post a chip saying she's 1 year sober.
Mm-hmm.
So now you have a situation where you left this love of your life because she had this alcohol problem, but now she's sober. She got rid of the one thing that you couldn't get past. But you got this awesome new thing over here. I'm just curious, Dan, what would you do in that situation? Do you go back to your first love, or do you explore this this new thing that you've come to know and really like?
Well, a first question I have is, I think the assumption is that when you started dating your long-term ex-girlfriend, she was not on the bottle. It was something that happened in the midst of the relationship, and she was no longer acting herself because of the addiction. Is that a fair assumption?
You always knew what she was, and she was a great girl. And then at some point in the relationship, there was a drastic change where she found this addiction that she couldn't overcome. Yes.
So that's a good one, because now she's back to the woman that you knew and loved, and that was your first love, first passion. I think you got to go back.
But can I throw one more thing in there, though?
Yes.
Can I throw one more caveat?
Sure.
Your ex girl that just kicked this addiction that you love so much, one thing hasn't changed, Nan. She still has a extremely volatile, short-sighted, unhinged, hyper-emotional mom who still kind of runs the show for her. If you understand what I'm saying, she still kind of makes some shots and decisions in her life that at the end of the day kind of has the final veto power. She's still there, and a part of that, and something I'm still going to have to, this person would have to endure. And who knows what kind of ideas she puts into my ex-lover's brain. It's like, she's not going anywhere. The alcohol is gone, but the mom's still there. Does that change it for you?
That's another factor. That's a tough one with future potential in-laws, meddlesome in-laws. I don't know. I think that was your first true love.
It makes you think.
It does make you think. I don't think you can quit your ex, Braxton. That's what I think personally. I think that, you still got like on the Twitter feeds, in the socials, you can't quit.
It's just an algorithm. I can't help the algorithm.
It's just an algorithm.
She's popular. Her downfall has set the stage for such a comeback that it's just, you can't miss it. It's one of those situations.
All right, so I believe we're having some latency issues with the lag. We're going to go to the technical difficulty screen really quick, and I'm going to try to fix this. I think we can do it. All right. Thank you for that quick technical difficulty. We're back. I think the issue is fixed, that we've been experiencing a lag between. Oh, there's Gigi, a special guest for Woody Lew Sports and You 1 year anniversary. Look at that smile on Dad's face.
She's great. Can't beat it.
Can't be. You're beaming right now.
She's my angel.
Absolutely, baby girl.
That's your niece.
Exactly. So my question for you, Braxton, is who do you want to coach your ex-girlfriend, the Tennessee Titans?
Mike McCarthy.
Mike McCarthy.
Yes.
And why is that?
Can I give you a realistic answer, and then what would get me to come back to my girl?
Please, both.
Can I go on record?
Yes, we're live.
Mike McCarthy. Mike McCarthy would guarantee you're a fringe playoff team every year. You have the slightest chance of winning a first-round playoff game, 100% chance to lose a second-round playoff game, but you made it to the playoffs. It's a division where he could do good. I think Jacksonville is on the rise, but Houston's still just Houston. You know what you're getting with Houston. In Indianapolis, Daniel Jones thing can't last forever. So it's a very winnable division, the AFC South. It is up this year, but long-term, it's a division he could play well in. He won't have the same pressures that he had in Green Bay or Dallas. He would be good hire because he would be what they're asking for. He would show an improvement. They might not go out the first season and win 12 games, but he would get you in that 7 to 10 range. And that's all you can really ask for out of a slow rebuild, especially in Nashville. We got a new stadium coming in 2027. So I think it's a really important time to make a guaranteed thing hire. Now, that hire might not be like Mike McCarthy's probably not the sexiest hire, but he's a winner. And with the new stadium, he's something that is stable for Tennessee. So that's a stable hire of an expectation of, hey, we're in contention to win the AFC South. We're in contention to win the wild card. Like, we're there. We may not do it, but the Titans are there. So that'd be like my safe, like what I think would be the smart, mature hire with the new stadium coming. Now, if you want to talk sexy hire, that would get me, my juices flowing because they are an old acquaintance. They're really the ex-boyfriend of my new girlfriend. So there's some ties there, is John Gruden.
Wow.
That would be a hire that would put people in – John Gruden would put people in seats for the last year or two in Nissan Stadium. but he probably wouldn't be there for the opening of the new one. But he would get a little juice back into the thing, and he's very clearly expressed a desire to get back into coaching. I know he's flirted with the college ranks, but after seeing what's going on in Chapel Hill, I think he's probably aware that the NFL is probably best suited for him. And as he's moving forward with winning his case against the NFL, so as he continues to win in the face of public opinion in the courts, I think that's going to shift the mainstream's opinion of him. It already has. He's already kind of revitalized his appearance in the media space. So I think that wouldn't be an unrealistic thing.
I'm going to throw a few names out at you, and I want those are good answers. I think like who you think is realistic and who would be the sexy pick. I am curious what you think of these names. Robert Saleh.
Shoot.
They
deserve each other. Next.
Cliff Kingsbury.
I mean, that's another one of those, like, he's closer to a Gruden hire. No. Oh my God, Jaden Daniels just fumbled. I'm so sorry. I've lost. Congratulations, Martin. Hope you're listening. Congrats on the win. Cliff Kingsbury's not terrible, but I mean, is he really gonna take that job, you think?
I mean, it's a head coaching job. I mean, more money, more power. You only answer to ownership. You don't have a boss, really. Well, you do, but
he's got a good thing going there. Yeah.
That
wouldn't be a terrible hire. I don't think he's a Nashville guy, though.
Cliff Kingsbury, not a Nashville guy.
No.
I think he's got Nashville written all
over.
What a
touchdown pass. Good job, Jay.
He can wear boots and a hat.
No.
Josh
he's
McDaniels.
West Coast. Yeah. Terrible hire. He's got he had a phenomenal. He has coached my. No, next.
Even after what he's done with Drake May,
he's coached the Dolphins.
You're thinking Mike McDaniel.
Wait, did you say Josh or Mike?
I said Josh, not Mike.
Sorry,
Mike McDaniel's not getting a head coaching job anytime soon.
I was about to say Mike McDaniel is the first person to successfully make Miami a college town. Oh well, no, the Josh. That's not terrible. That's another safe. But then again, I think they're going to be very hesitant to hire someone that's not proven, because really, when you think about it, the hire of Brian Callahan, he wasn't the full-time OC, but he was a head offensive assistant for those Bengals teams that were great with Joe Burrow in that first year. I think they're going to be hesitant to go that route. They're going to want a proven track record head coach with victories, in my opinion.
With that said, the last name, I think you know where this is going. Bill Belichick, Chapel Bill.
If he wouldn't have gone to North Carolina, that wouldn't be crazy, because you could have guaranteed
Well, you heard all the chatter coming out of Chapel Hill, and he's going to do his $1 million buyout.
I've heard all the chatter, but no, him going to North Carolina has kind of tainted kind of his brand a little bit.
Okay.
And I can tell you one person in his house who would love to go to Nashville.
I was just going to say Jordan would love Nashville.
I'm sure all of her sorority sisters are in the phase of life of getting married, so it'd save her a lot of money on bachelorette trips. That'd be great for her. She'd be Uber distance away. She wouldn't even have to stay in the Airbnb with everyone. She could just stay at her own house. But Bill Belichick, no. And that brings me to a good point, Dan, because here's the cool thing about sports, right? Sports are awesome because of the storylines. I just love that they fired him on the Monday of game week against Mike Vrabel, because I think, in my opinion, you can't overcomplicate things, right? I truly believe that the thought process was firing him now is better for this guy and just the fan base, it's better to fire him now than after he loses to Mike Vrabel. So now we can lose to the Patriots.
Yeah.
And it's just like, hey, we got an interim head coach. We got some turnover. But if we fire Mike Vrabel for this offensive giant who's done nothing but win 4 games over a 23-game span, and he loses to Mike Vrabel, their hand would have been even more forced. And I think this was a way for them to keep the ball in their court.
Yeah, they're definitely saving face with the timing of the first head coach firing in the NFL this season. So we have some chatter in the chat. The Mad Hatter, we already talked about Cliff Kingsbury. What about Joe Brady? I think you already addressed this though, with Brian Callahan's hiring. The hot shot OC, not like a proven head coaching commodity.
I think they have. Now the Titans haven't listened to me. They don't listen to me about the draft. They don't listen to me often. I think for the fan base to be saved, because they're in a bad spot right now, because I am still on my ex's algorithm, you have to hire a guy who has. Now, if he's an established play caller, because a lot of the things they're saying is, hey, like Brian Callahan never actually called plays in Cincinnati, so Zach Taylor called plays. So with him coming here, he took over play calling responsibility until like 3 weeks ago. He handed it off not to his offensive coordinator, but to his quarterback coach, which is something. So if they're an established play caller who have done things, like I could see them getting past it, but I really think they want a former head coach who's coached 5+ years in the league and has a winning record. Those don't grow on trees, and that's not lost on me, but they're going to need to find someone and bring someone in who has won football games in the NFL.
And then quite the hypothetical situation posed by the Mad Hatter. If the Ravens fire Harbaugh, would you take him? Is that even being discussed right now?
You got to.
I mean, you got to, but is that how? Like, what are the odds of that happening?
That'd be short-sighted, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I feel like, I mean, obviously,
because even with the Ravens,
yeah, go ahead.
I'm saying even with the Ravens' record right now, does anyone still think? Do you still see the Ravens on your schedule and think like, oh, that's a win? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's still the Ravens.
Yeah, they still have the reputation, but I mean, even with Lamar being out, like their defense is atrocious, and I mean that's been a hallmark of Baltimore. I mean, since their first Super Bowl in 2001, like the Ravens defense it's always like a tough game, but they are atrocious this year. I feel like Harbaugh will get like a pass though for this season with Lamar out.
He should. That should be an asterisk for sure. You can't. I understand, like, you need to have the team ready for any scenario, but when your MVP caliber quarterback goes out, you can't, you don't prepare for that because you don't keep a reliable backup when you're paying MVP money for a quarterback. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So you can't fault him for that too much.
Yeah. Well, that was fun.
If they're winning, if they're losing complete shootouts, but you don't see in the NFL a lot, but they're losing, 41 to 37, 38 every week. Well, yeah, like your backup quarterback's getting you enough points to win the game. It's obviously a bigger issue. But if they're losing traditional NFL games by 7 to 14, like it just is what it is. It's the NFL.
So NFL moving. Oh, wait a second. We got the Mad Hatter. CBS Sports has a number 4 on a hot seat. Interesting. I don't. Probably a lukewarm seat.
That's crazy. Yeah, I think that's crazy.
So moving from NFL to the college game, this was the big news coming out of Saturday. On Sunday, big game. James Franklin out at the Pennsylvania State University. What do you got, Braxton?
So I haven't liked James Franklin since he brought the score up on Kentucky when he was at Vanderbilt. We got our revenge on him in the Citrus Bowl back in 2018, and that was a fun game to be at. But Yes, he doesn't win the big games. They showed a graphic of his record against all the teams in the Big Ten, like outside of the 1-10 against Ohio State, which you can't really defend. Like he has a respectable record against everyone in the Big Ten. I think he was actually 2-2 against Northwestern. But where do you go from there? Because I know the landscape of college football is changing, and teams are showing. Kurt Signetti is a good example. Like teams are showing that you can show up somewhere if you have a good grasp on NIL, player management. The player development is still super important, but I think right now this is kind of more of a player management because it's such a free agency based NFL style league where it's really a management of talent and personnel in time and space of where your team's at. Super important. This is going to be a hectic coaching carousel this offseason. You have so many high visibility jobs open: Virginia Tech, Penn State, hopefully Kentucky. You could have Oklahoma. You could have Auburn. You could end up having Tulane when John Summerall takes the Florida job over Billy Napier. There's so many things. So it's going to be a hard time to get a highly touted coach. And the thing about James Franklin, he's on a little skid. But 3 weeks ago, he had College Game Day there, and they were ranked number 3.
They were number 2. They were 2 or 3. They were, yeah.
Yeah. I think they were ranked 3rd, playing Oregon. Had the lead in overtime. You lose that game. UCLA has caught lightning in a bottle. You lose that game, and then you lose by a point to Northwestern. That's terrible. But who are you going to hire this season? I don't know. Who are they going to hire that's going to beat Ohio State? I don't know. They're not going to get Kurt Signetti. I've already seen that name floated around. Why would Kurt Signetti leave Indiana? Because what Indiana has done, if you listen to Kentucky Sports Radio, Matt Jones, never talked about him before, but he always says, you can't win at Kentucky. Kentucky's a basketball school. We don't have the resources. We don't have the 5-star recruits. But Kurt Signetti's at Indiana doing that exact same thing. I would love for you to tell me the difference between Indiana and Kentucky as far as producing in-state talent and as far as resources. Very comparable in resources. We may even actually have more resources. Yeah. And Indiana might produce one more 5-star than Kentucky in football. I bet it's so similar that it's a wash as far as
also apples to oranges because Kentucky doesn't. I don't think Kentucky has the equivalent of Notre Dame in state. Like if you're from Indiana, like Notre Dame, like that is the football school.
Sure. So, and if you're Kurt Signetti and you just now Kurt Signetti's on glide path to have the field and the locker room and buildings named after him.
Oh yeah.
And he's at a stage of life where he's got kids in college. There's no reason for him to go to Penn State. He's already built something there. So I don't know who they're going to hire. Hopefully whoever they hire causes a domino effect to where Mark Stoops ends up taking a job and then we can hire someone that's going to do something, but who knows?
Yeah, I just wanted to – I had the stats up here on big game James Franklin, and I think they support – he – after, being ranked number 2 and then just 3 weeks of historically, from what your expectations are of historic poor performance of back-to-back losses at home with Oregon and then Northwestern, who is perennial basement dweller of the Big Ten, and then, on the road to a winless UCLA, back-to-back losses when they were more than 20-point favorites. But James Franklin's history at Penn State, he is 4-21 against AP top 10 opponents, 1-18 versus top 10 Big Ten teams. He is 1-15 against top 5 teams. And his overall record 4-21 against AP top 10 opponents. That just doesn't cut it.
And I suppose that's inexcusable. I guess the question kind of comes down, Dan, and you're more northeastern than I am. I know Kentucky and Pennsylvania are really close, but I guess it comes down to where do you put Penn State on the pedestal of college football powerhouse perennial programs and what the expectations should be. Me, when I think of Penn State, I think of a team who's automatically going to win 9 to 11 games, fringe 12 games, with the bowl involved or the playoff involved. But consistent 9 to 11 win team, always there with a game to play for a Big Ten championship, like a game away from making the Big Ten championship. They may get lucky, they not. That's Penn State to me. And I guess at the end of the day, what I'm trying to convey is that's my idea of Penn State since Joe Paterno was there and on. James Franklin gave you that. You can take this year out. Like James Franklin, he made it to where, late November, you're a game away from the Big Ten championship, and you had already secured 9 or 10 wins. So I guess just like what's next for them, especially it's a 12-game playoff. Mm-hmm. So there's nothing to say. I know he's lost 3 and they're bad, but say he only lost 2 of those. Say he only lost Oregon and then 1. Say he beat Northwestern, right?
Yeah.
If he goes chalk the way he should go, he'd still be playing for an opportunity for the college football playoff.
Oh yeah, with the Big Ten, still very much in play. I mean, Ohio State and Indiana. I mean, Big Ten's probably out of the question, but yeah, 1 loss in that conference, the cream of the crop. You're probably right. But
that's just kind of my take. I'm really interested to see who they hire.
Yeah, to answer your question of like who they hire, and the names that I've heard like in the national media, Matt Rule, his name's being floated. He hasn't really done much at Nebraska, which arguably has
done
the amount of resources as Penn State. So what's going to be the difference there? Brian Kelly, which I don't know why Penn State would want him. The same thing, like, LSU to Penn State, that's like, pretty lateral. But I think the name that intrigues me the most is Dan Mullen out at UNLV.
This is what I'd say about Dan Mullen. I'm Kentucky, right? I expect to win 6 to 7 wins this season. I want 6 to 7 wins this season. I am jumping with joy if we win 8, 9, or 10. That's just like free money. But 6 or 7 regular season wins, opportunity to win 8 in a ball game, opportunity to win 9 in a ball game, whatever. Dan Mullen could be a very good hire for a school like Kentucky, a school like Mississippi State, a school like Iowa State, Iowa, Kirk Francis. Like, you see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Penn State gets Dan Mullen. Dan Mullen's undefeated at UNLV, but go look at the margin of victory. He's been in nail biters every single game. He's found a way to win. Good on him. But when you're talking about a back and forth against Air Force, now he's at UNLV first year. I get all that. But again, it's transfer portal era. You can get your players. What is Dan Mullen? You see what he did in Florida. I loved when Dan Mullen's at Florida because Kentucky kept winning. Same with Mississippi State. Like, what's he going to do at Penn State that James Franklin wasn't already doing? If he gets generational talent like he had, when he had Dak Prescott at Mississippi State, like, okay, but he's not going to do anything that James Franklin wasn't already doing.
No, I mean, yeah, he failed at Florida, which, I think is on the same, tier as Penn State. So maybe learn from that experience, but no, it's not, I think, it's Kurt Signetti. He is the name. He is the hottest name.
He's not going
right now.
There's no point to go.
IU versus Penn State, go to Penn State.
The phase he's in the backside of his career. I think he's even said this. He didn't get a head coaching job till he was 50. He has kids in college. He's a lunatic. I love the guy. I would love for him to coach. He's an awesome coach. But if you've built Indiana to a top 5 program in a Big Ten powerhouse, he stays for another shoot. He stays for 5 more seasons with the same level of success of him going 9-3, 10-2, 11-1, make 3 of the next 5 college football playoffs. I don't care if he loses in the first round of every single one. They will name the field after him in Indiana.
Oh, absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
why would you trade that to go to Penn State, where you can go 10-2, 10-2, 9-3, 11-1, 3-3, and you're fired? Why would you trade that? Why would you
Money.
trade this? I'd be hard pressed to think that he's not financial.
Cash
I
is king,
get
Braxton.
that. I just don't. I think that'd be stupid. I can tell you, if I'm Penn State, and I'm a stan of this guy. I love this guy because I just think he's good at. He's a good coach and he keeps excitement. You got to try to steal. You got to try to steal Lane from Ole Miss. Don't tell me Dan Lanning. I don't want to hear nothing about Dan Lanning. No, Lane Kiffin at Ole Miss, Kurt Signetti, unrealistic.
That's a good name. Yeah,
Like,
I mean,
those are
Lane,
the.
he's a mercenary. He would definitely jump.
But what are they going to do? Is Penn State going to let Oklahoma fire Brent Venables because they're going to go 8-4, 7-5, and then pick up Brent Venables? Like, what? It's just a lateral coaching hire, in my opinion. Like,
Yeah.
what are you? Because when you think about resources, there's no difference between Oklahoma and Penn State's resources. There's no different. Like, resources are pretty flatlined now for top tier schools in the Power Four who consider themselves football schools with rev sharing and the money's there. If they want to give you the money, the money's there. It really just comes down to I think again, comes down to talent management and then X's and O's on the field. I don't see who they're going to feasibly hire. I don't think Lane Kiffin leaves the SEC. I think the SEC is too much for him, unless he did get, especially with his daughters involved with the SEC and all that. I don't know. I don't know who they're going to hire. I'm really interested to see because I think it's going to be a terrible hire.
It's gonna be very interesting to see, and it's probably gonna be a filler until that hot college name like the Urban Meyer or I don't know, Jimbo Fisher, Nick Saban comes available.
I just don't.
And yeah,
Dan Mullen. I'm glad you brought him up. I'd love to see him wearing blue.
You think he'd look good in in Kentucky blue?
Yeah,
Wildcat blue.
I can't see the comments. I'd love to get Matt Hatter's opinion. I would love the Dan Mullen hire. At least he'd be sassy on the sidelines. He's Wildcat. Pun intended.
I think we should. Woody Lew Sports News should make that pitch. Groundswell Mullen to Lexington.
If Mark Stoops if Mark Stoops survives this season, mark my words. If Mark Stoops survives this season, but he gets fired next season, and we're both in proximity to each other, and we've had this show for 2 years, we're going to get press credentialed for the new football coach Kentucky's press conference.
I love it. That's great.
How sick would that be?
That's perfect. Where would he?
You, me, and Matt Hatter. You, me, Matt Hatter, and producer Kaylee are going to get credentialed and go to that press conference, and then Matt Hatter's going to ask a question. Matt Hatter, Woody Lew Sports and You. So, Coach Mullen. That'd be sick.
That'd be great. I loved him. In between Florida and UNLV. I don't know how many years that was, but he was on he was an ESPN college sports analyst, and he was so good. Like when I took him to school, that segment.
Yeah, he's another example. I mean, he took it from the Lane Kiffin playbook. He had success. He had moderate success at the Power Four. Kind of blew his wad, was dejected, fired, took some time off, rebranded himself at a smaller school, obviously trying to get back up to the Power Four somewhere. So he took it from Lane Kiffin's school of hard knocks, and I think he keeps winning at UNLV. It's going to get him a good job.
Oh, hot take from the Mad Hatter. He has answered your request in the chat, Braxton. He would just move that visor up and down. He wouldn't be in my top 5.
Matt Hatter, what's your top 3 for Kentucky? Go. And would you go to and if we got you press credentialed, would you ask a question?
Matt Hatter's going to be a great guest co-host when you enter your field problem in the.
I don't think you understand. If we got press credentialed to a UK anything, it could be women's volleyball press conference. They're really good. So we could get press credentialed to the introduction of the new swimming coach at UK. If Mad Hatter got press credentialed, I promise you the stress of him picking out that hat would be almost unbearable. And I would love it.
Would he go get would he go a hattery, get a custom hat?
I bet he would. Because the stipulation would be he has to say Mad Hatter, Woody, Lew, Sports, and You, and then go into the question.
Well, okay, we'll give you a minute, Mr. Chris Lewis, the Mad Hatter, on your Kentucky top 3 head coach candidates. Braxton, we're going to move into a fair or foul. We haven't done fair or foul in a minute. And I meant to do this on our last episode, talking about my trip to Vanderbilt football, the Commodores, when they played Utah State. And we've talked about this before, but I don't think in this specific scenario. So Vanderbilt was playing Utah State. And I went to the bookstore. I went nuts. I bought a great long sleeve tee. I got a sweet fire hat. I was all in on Anchor Down. Utah State, they were fun. There was a fair amount of Utah State fans in the stadium. A 3-1 team going into it. Diego Pavia played phenomenally. Career game for him. But in the stands, I saw this guy decked out in royal blue and white, hat, t-shirt, and it was BYU, like BYU at a Vanderbilt Utah State game. And it was, to me, it was a statement because, I mean, Utah State, like, you know, not the same as Utah, the Holy War, but they're a rival of BYU. Fair or foul, going to two unrelated teams, one team being a rival, wearing just not random, but a completely different team color.
I love this topic. I love this. I could do a whole show on this topic. I'll bottom line up front, it's foul. And let me tell you why. There is nothing I despise more. And I've seen this at almost every type of sporting event. I have gone to, and I know Mad Hatter would have a million ideas on this too. We've gone to Braves games where they're playing the Reds, and you got guys there in Yankees hats. You got guys there in Brewers hats. I've gone to Kentucky football games where they're playing Vanderbilt, and there's people there in Tennessee orange. I've gone to Kentucky basketball games, and they're playing Troy University, and there's Louisville Cardinals fans there. It's so obnoxious. And in all fairness, I know off KSR, people will call in and brag about, oh, I went to the Louisville, you know, the Louisville Tulane basketball game, but I wore my blue. It's stupid. It's so it's so pick me. I can't stand pick me people. It's so pick me. And here's the thing. I don't even know, like, I like the fact that you love your team that much, but what are you trying to prove? So, like, my next question is, like, why are you there? And if you're there just to, hey, I wanted to go watch a game. Okay. If you wanted to go watch a game, but you don't like the other team. So in your example, hey, I don't like Utah State because I'm a BYU fan. Go to the bookstore like a normal human. Go get you a Vandy T-shirt. What is Vandy and BYU? What's that beef? So, like, and that's the kind of thing with me. I think you're similar in this, and I know Dave Portnoy on Big Noon Kickoff is similar in this. There's the only schools that I would go to and not buy something from their bookstore, I think, are Louisville and Tennessee. But, okay, so for example, Kentucky and North Carolina, Kentucky and Kansas basketball rivals, right? If I went to watch Kentucky, or I went to a Kansas, I don't know, say I'm stationed at Fort Leavenworth and me and Kaylee go to a Kansas basketball game because it's fog out and we want to see a game. Yeah. I would go to the bookstore and buy a Kansas T-shirt. Yep. Because you're there. It's cool. It's just because you buy a T-shirt of this team doesn't mean, oh, I'm a Kansas. It doesn't mean anything like that. It's just like you're there. So no, I don't understand it. I think it's lame. If you say you just want to go watch a football game and you don't like either of the teams, but you decided to spend your hard-earned money and your whole day going anyway, just wear a freaking, a black polo and some shorts and just go watch the game. I don't know why it's just douchey. And I hate to use that word, but I don't know how else to describe it. It's just kind of douchey.
It was, I think, the best way to describe it. And I was walking, I got my hot dog and a beer, and I was walking like from the concourse, like back to my seat, and I saw him, and I did like one of these just like what the?
You want to ask them, like, what's your problem?
I did. I really did. But I was just like, man, what a pud. Like, just a
Like,
pud.
okay, for example, you're in Nashville.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, hey Dan, let's go to the Nashville Predators and Minnesota Wild game tonight. And you're like, all right, man, sounds great. We get in the Uber and you're wearing a freaking Bruins jersey. It's just like, why are you? Like, I know it's hockey, and some people might just be like, oh well, I'm going to a sporting event. This is the only sporting clothes I have is this team. Like, okay, it's still just like it's kind of just weird. Like, why? It's just weird. It doesn't
Yeah.
make any sense.
So we have some chatter. I'll get to that, but I do want to say I think the only situation where it's appropriate is like the NFL London games, where they have like X amount of games there, and they have they're not from, if that makes sense. They're not like hometown allegiances to like these teams, obviously. So they just wear the team that they support whenever the NFL comes. And it's like a celebration of the NFL.
I'm not gonna bang on the Europeans too hard on that. Like I'm at least they like football. Like I saw pictures of there's people in Australia watching Monday Night Football, and it was like 10 in the morning, and they're in a bar on a Monday to a Sunday night. That's fine, whatever. But if you're an American, you should know better. There's no excuse.
We got some gold coming from the Mad Hatter right now, and he did provide his list of coaching candidates, which we'll get to in a second. But he weighed in on fair or foul. So his first comment: you have to sit in the upper deck of any stadium if you show up with a random team that isn't playing the game you came to watch. So the usher should just automatically banish them. That's a great rule.
It should be in the SOP. Just in the SOP, like that's what they do.
No matter, even if you had like 15th row, 50-yard line, like no, you're going upper bowl.
Yeah,
I love that.
Pick one.
And then it would be like Switzerland showing up at Battle of the Bulge.
Doesn't make any sense. Why are you there?
Why are you there? Oh, a solid goal for the Mad Hatter. So Braxton, I know I'm gonna let you riff on this. So his list for Kentucky Wildcats short list: head coach Summerall, Will Stein, and then maybe a Todd Monken type person.
Dad, I'm really scared John Summerall's going to go to Auburn if Hugh Freeze gets fired. And I'm really scared he'll go to Florida if Billy Napier gets fired. Dan, so John Summerall, Dan, he played at UK. He was on Kentucky staff even before Mark Stoops was there. He's obviously done great things at Troy and now Tulane. He's going to get a big time job this offseason. There's no doubt. I would love for him to come to us because the reason John Summerall is the obvious choice is he's a Mark Pope-esque hire. Because like Mark Pope lost 12 games last year and lost in the Sweet 16 to Tennessee, and no one was even that mad because they know how much effort he put in and how much he cares and like the trajectory's up. So like John Summerall will get that same type of leash, and that leash would be even greater in football, for being honest. But I think he's too good for us. Like John Summerall is like he's on these schools' short list.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Will Stein's good. I think doesn't he have Louisville connections? That might be weird. Todd Monken. Here's the sad part is, and what I'm scared of, Dad and Dan. I'm scared that those three names are too well known. I don't know, and I know it's a head coaching job in the SEC, but they could also be thinking kind of what I'm saying about Penn State is, hey, Mark Stoops came here for 14 seasons, and he did things that no one since Bear Bryant has done. He's won 10 games twice, went to 8 straight bowl games, and now like the SEC schedule is dubious and just ridiculous, and the schedule is not getting any easier with 9 conference games. And this guy has back-to-back, 4 to 3, 4, or 5 win seasons, which is not great, but he's done all this. You're talking about building a statue. Now you're running him out of town. And that can scare people off, especially when you're talking about Kentucky, because like they can do that at Florida.
Yeah.
But the other thing about Kentucky, and this is the whole shtick, Dan, I don't know if you've seen it, but Mark Stoops' contract. Now, I would assume that the next coach won't get the same contract. But Mark Stoops has a $38 million buyout that's due in 14 days. and has no good faith clause. So he could get fired. He's owed $38 million in 14 days, and then he could go take the head coaching job at UAB, and there's no offset. Now that could make you want to come here if you know you're going to get the most ridiculous contract in history. Dad, I don't know who we're going to get. And I'm scared if it's not John Summerall, it's going to be someone that you, me, and Dan have never heard of.
So he's saying now if Freeze gets fired at Auburn, he would take Freeze or Golish from Southern Florida, USF.
Golish is going to be another guy, and he's going to be getting one of these higher-end jobs. I would love Golish as well. He's doing crazy things at Southern Florida. You see them just like put up like 70 on North Texas. That'd be a great hire. Hugh Freeze, I'd take him and all the baggage. I'd carry the baggage up for him. He'd get you 6 wins and some violations. At least he's trying. You know, if you're not,
if you ain't cheating, you ain't trying. I just can't get over when he was at Liberty and he was coaching from that hospital bed in the press box. That was, talk about a football guy. That's my like lasting indelible image of Hugh Freeze coaching from a
Did he
hospital
do that
bed.
was that at Liberty?
That was at Liberty.
I mean, married to the game, you know, kind of like us. We got some Hugh Freeze in us.
That was the best.
You know, dude, what if you want to hear talk about a bad situation? What if Brian Callahan decided he wanted to go to college and we hired him?
Oh, what would you do?
Well, I'll tell you what I do, Dan, because as of Thursday, I donate to the University of Alabama.
Nice.
So tax deductible donator to the University of Alabama. I pay. So I'd probably just go to where my wallet's going and go full in on. Then I would also start the pursuit of getting Kalen DeBoer fired because I'm satisfied. But that's probably what I'd have to do.
Braxton just calling for everyone's head.
You get paid too much money not to perform.
That's fair. That's fair. Do you want to do a quick looking forward to this week of college football and NFL? We're at an hour and 7 minutes.
Well, in the NFL, I'm looking forward to seeing Mike Vrabel get just the sweetest victory of his career. In college, what do we got? Is it Georgia and Ole Miss this week? And then Alabama and Tennessee? I think Alabama might smoke Tennessee because I still think Tennessee's a fraud. You're going to see Kentucky get routed by Texas at 7 p.m. on ESPN. That's about it. I don't even know the Big Ten slate. I don't watch enough Big Noon Kickoff like you to know the Big Ten slate.
We got USC at Notre Dame. That's going to be a good
That'll
game.
be a nice game.
Yeah, that's going to be a good one. I'm trying to think. What are the big games?
Who's Vandy got? They're coming off a bye.
I'm going to try and go to Nissan on Sunday. I got to look SeatGeek. Yeah, Ole Miss at Georgia, Bama, Tennessee. Vandy's got LSU. That would be a nice little upset for Vandy.
Is it in Death Valley?
It is at Vanderbilt.
You should be going to that game.
That one, I looked at tickets for that one. It is a bit pricey.
LSU travels. If I didn't have,
go ahead.
If I didn't have all these women at home depending on me, I would try to go to Nashville for that Patriots and Titans game.
Come on up, man. I can get 2 tickets.
Do you got enough? You got some New England stuff for me to wear?
I can purchase it.
Or I could show up in some Bucks gear.
That would be show him Baker Mayfield jersey and your visor. Speaking of which, what happened to that Tennessee Titans visor that you bought in Poland?
Sold at a yard sale for $2.
And then we do have, speaking of BYU, we have the Holy War, top 25 matchup, number 15 BYU at Utah.
I can't comment on. Okay, so we had Big Blue Madness the other day, Kentucky, and we have the most athletic Mormon to ever be alive in Colin Chandler. He won the dunk contest. He's Mormon, and all the demographics that come with that. So like, last year
around this time, I got so high on the Mormon train that they went on like a 3-game skid. So I'm just going to keep comments to myself and
Okay.
in respect to their season.
That's right. All right, Braxton. This was good. Episode 20, 1 year anniversary. I'm pretty proud of ourselves. I'm gonna clap on the back for getting to a year and 20 episodes. Any final thoughts?
Thank you to everyone who's listening. Thank you for those who like, subscribe, comment, and also share us on Spotify, Instagram. Thank you to Tyler Bird, our giveaway winner. Thank you to everyone who has made this first year an amazing journey. And shout out to Margaret Ann, my sister-in-law, for beating me because Jaden Daniels is as competent as a squirrel. And Jackson Dart will be my new starting quarterback moving forward.
That's a great sign off. Thank you, everyone. Have a great week. Like, subscribe, download, and listen. Thank you.
Thanks.